Bergen Community College presents Bergen Bulldog Radio. Torch TV, FiOS Channel 26. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Bergen Community College.
Welcome to Bergen Bulldog Radio for the week of April 16th, 2026. I am your host, Melody DeForge. Bergen Bulldog Radio is a live weekly news magazine program produced by the radio production class on the Paramus campus of Bergen Community College. Each week, our program will bring insight on current topics here on the campus of New Jersey's largest community college. On this first live of the spring 2026 semester, our long-form Bergen Bulldog Focus segment will discuss Earth Day here at BCC. We are glad you joined us today. Now let's get caught up with the latest news around Bergen Community College.
I'm Michael Richardson with Jane Mercado, and this is Bergen Bulldog News. A major shift in the battle over health care in Jersey City. Hudson Regional Health has officially withdrawn its application to shut down its local hospital. According to News 12 New Jersey, the move follows intense controversy and potential intervention from state lawmakers and city officials after the closure left the city with just one remaining emergency room. A hospital spokesperson says they are now encouraged by ongoing talks with the property landlord. A planned public meeting regarding their closure has been canceled as officials weigh their next steps. Gas prices are climbing across the country, but President Trump says he is very happy with the current market. According to a report from NewJersey.com, the president brushed off economic concerns during a recent interview, stating that oil prices, currently around $92 a barrel, are actually lower than he anticipated following his decision to go to war with Iran. While the national average for gas has hit $4.11 per gallon, Trump maintains that the high costs are a necessary risk to stop Iran's nuclear program. He predicts that prices will drop very big once the conflict concludes.
The EPA is considering easing air pollution standards for chemical plastic recycling. According to reports from the Associated Press, reclassifying these facilities in manufacturing could lead to a spike in toxic emissions. While the Trump administration supports the change, environmentalists have already promised a legal challenge.
Tensions are mounting following the implementation of a U.S. naval blockade of Iranian ports. The Associated Press reports that U.S. forces have already turned back 6 merchant vessels, successfully halting all traffic. Despite the military pressure, a diplomatic window remains open. President Trump says a second round of talks in Islamabad could begin within 2 days, a prospect the UN Secretary General calls highly probable. This comes as the conflict continues to rattle global markets, sending U.S. wholesale prices up 4% last month due to soaring energy costs.
In Bulldog buzz and entertainment news, Lady Gaga has made a triumphant return to her roots on the Lower East Side to celebrate the conclusion of her latest world tour. According to the New York Post page 6, the pop icon hosted an exclusive bash at Maison Nur after wrapping her final performance at Madison Square Garden. Gaga was joined by her fiancé, Michael Polanski, who acted as an equal host for a crowd of family and childhood friends. The star-studded guest list featured Maggie Gyllenhaal and Dylan Mulvaney, who cheered on the singer from the club's upper balcony. Insiders called the end of the 86 show Mayhem Tour a bittersweet but historic milestone for the performer.
Could a trip to Italy change the future of Hollywood? According to reports from People.com, the new romantic comedy You, Me, and Tuscany has secured an $8 million opening at the domestic box office. Starring Halle Bailey and Regé-Jean Page, the film's performance is being hailed as a potential turning point for the genre. Producer Will Packer tells People that Hollywood is a reactive industry, and if audiences continue to show up, it could pave the way for many more theatrical releases featuring diverse leads.
According to People.com, Tom Holland is opening up about filming Christopher Nolan's upcoming epic, The Odyssey. Holland stars as Telemachus, the son of Matt Damon's Odysseus, in the sweeping adaptation of the classic tale. The film is making history as the first shot entirely with IMAX cameras, and Holland says he was blown away by its scales. He calls it one of his proudest achievements, with a star-studded cast including Zendaya, Anne Hathaway, and Robert Pattinson. The film hits theaters July 17th.
And that's what's happening here at Bergen Community College. For Bergen Bulldog News, I'm Michael Richardson.
And I'm Jade Mercado.
Thanks for listening.
Feeling overwhelmed with classes, work, or life in general? Bergen Community College is here to help. Join the Stress Management Workshop on April 22nd from 12:30 to 1:30 at the Pitkin Education Center in room S138. This workshop will give you helpful tips and tools to manage stress, regulate your emotions, and calm your mind during challenging situations. Take a break, learn new strategies, and focus on your well-being. Your mental health matters. For more information, visit bergen.edu/events.
You're watching Bergen Bulldog Radio from Bergen Community College here on Torch TV, FiOS Channel 26, and the Bergen Bulldog Radio YouTube channel. And now it's time for Bergen Bulldog Focus.
Earth Day. Every year, people from around the world unite to demonstrate support for environmental protection and raise awareness about the issues our environment faces, like climate change and pollution. Hello, my name is Lorena Nunez Cruz.
And I'm Yuri Neradev.
With Earth Day coming up next week, today's focus piece is all about Earth Day and Earth Week here at Bergen Community College.
Let's start off by seeing how much students know about Earth Day.
Do you know when Earth Day is?
Isn't it April 10th? I don't know.
I don't know when Earth Day is.
14, 24, 18, 16, 12.
No, it's okay.
When is it?
The 22nd. Why do we celebrate Earth Day?
I think we celebrate Earth Day to bring awareness to the environment and keep people educated on the things that affect the environment and encourage people to be more mindful about things like pollution and climate change.
To be more mindful of their environment that people caused an earth that's harmful to it.
To show appreciation and gratitude for this amazing earth we live on.
We celebrate Earth Day to consider all the life that's on Earth and all the benefits that it has for us as humans.
So why is Earth Day important to you?
Earth Day is important to me because as someone who enjoys being in nature and in the outdoors and hiking, and I just think if we take a few seconds to just be appreciative of this beautiful land, it's important.
Earth Day is important because a lot of times we take advantage of Earth and just abuse it, but it's important to consider all the factors and just why it's important to take care of the Earth.
I think Earth Day is important to inform people that Earth is dying and that the next few years that it's going to get worse and worse.
Earth Day is important to me because as a younger person, I think it's up to younger people to make change and help people be aware about stuff like climate change and use our voices to make sure that the earth and the environment is helped.
Many of the students seem to understand the importance of taking care of our planet. Now let's get into when Earth Day is celebrated and why it started.
Earth Day is on April 22nd. It is a global celebration dedicated to environmental protection and activism. Earth Day was founded in 1970 by environmentalist and former United States Senator Gaylord Nelson. 15 months before, on January 28, 1969, the Santa Barbara oil spill occurred, which released up to 4.2 million gallons of crude oil into California's waters. Senator Gaylord Nelson saw the 800-square-mile oil slick from his plane window, which inspired him to ratify a national day for environmental education. The first event in 1970 saw an estimated 20 million American demonstrators. Today, it has grown into a global mobilization against climate change with over 190 countries and over 1 billion participants celebrating worldwide.
Earth Day serves as a yearly reminder of the need for the environmental stewardship and sustainability. Complex issues today like pollution, deforestation, climate change, and global warming serve as a grave threat to humanity. Pollution is the entrance of harmful substances or energy into the natural environment, air, water, or land, at levels that put human health, ecosystems, and living organisms in danger. It contaminates our air, water, and soil, affecting both human health and wildlife. Deforestation, the purposeful clearing of forested land for other uses, such as agriculture, ranching, or urban development. Deforestation destroys habitats and reduces the Earth's ability to absorb carbon dioxide. Climate change is a term that refers to a long-term shift in global temperatures and weather patterns, primarily driven by human activities since the 1800s, such as burning fossil fuels, coal, oil, or gas. These activities release a lot of heat-trapping greenhouse gases, acting like a blanket around Earth, causing global warming and extreme weather conditions. It's caused by rising greenhouse gas emission, leads to extreme weather, rising sea levels, and long-term environmental damage.
So, what has changed since the first Earth Day? Firstly, the population has more than doubled, meaning we need double the resources. We are emitting 2.6 times more CO2, causing temperatures to rise. Sea ice has melted, seeing a 13% decline per decade. Sea levels have risen 12 centimeters higher. We've lost nearly 1/5 of the Brazilian Amazon rainforest. Almost 900 animal species have been declared extinct, including the golden toad, Chinese paddle toad, and the mountain mist frog. And although we've seen a lot of bad, there is also plenty of good happening to help our environment. In the US, the Clean Air Act was signed in 1970. This federal law regulates air emissions from stationary and mobile sources. With protection, some populations have been revived. The gray whale population has increased from 11,177 to 16,198. The Yellowstone grizzly bear population went from 136 to 178. In 1987, every country in the world joined the Montreal Protocol to ban CFCs. Because of this, the ozone layer has stabilized and began to recover. In 2015, 197 countries signed the Paris Agreement, a landmark treaty where nearly every nation agreed to fight climate change, with the main goal being to prevent dangerous temperature rises by limiting global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius. So, how do we reach this goal? Countries began switching to renewable energy like solar and wind. Countries have began conserving and restoring forests and grasslands, and also pushing efforts to protect coastal and ocean environments. Everyone can play a part in protecting our planet.
So, what can we do to help? Individuals can make a difference by reducing waste, recycling, conserving energy, and using more sustainable transportation options. Even small actions, like using reusable products or saving water, can have a big impact over time.
Now, let's look into what the college has planned for next week. On Sunday, April 19, Bergen's Environmental and Community Outreach, also known as Eco Club, is hosting a cleanup at the Tenafly Nature Center. On Tuesday, April 21st, in the cafeteria, Dr. PJ Ricardo and members of the Green Team will give a tour and demonstration of the college's Rocket and ASP composting system. The college has used these since 2010 to divert the majority of pre-consumer food waste generated in the main cafeteria from the landfill. On Earth Day, April 22nd, join Bergen Community College environmental biology professor Rob Dill for a walk in the woods of the Saddle River County Park. They will meet there at 11 o'clock for an hour stroll. The highlight of the week is Earth Fest from 12 to 3 p.m. Join participants in the quad for a fun social event featuring live student bands, volleyball, games, environmental groups, and speakers. There are also events planned for Thursday and Saturday, so be on the lookout for the full Earth Week schedule.
To learn more, we spoke with Professor Sheehan to get his perspective on importance of Earth Day and what students can do to make a difference.
And we are here with Professor Dan Sheehan, who is a music professor here, as well as someone who is in charge of the Earth Week at Bergen Community College. So if you want to introduce yourself and what you do.
Hi. So yes, as said, I am a music professor, specifically teaching music production, but I'm also a big tree hugger, as they sometimes say. And I'm co-chair of the Sustainability Committee at the college, along with Professor Rob Dill.
What got you into environmentalism?
Well, I remember when I was in elementary school many years ago, actually in Pennsylvania, we were reading in our textbooks about things like recycling and solar panels. It wasn't really happening at the time, but they were saying this is what we're going to start doing. And then for a long time, I never saw evidence of any of that. And then when I was in college, which is the 90s, at my college, they started a very robust recycling program, and they had an environmental club that was raising awareness about being concerned about the planet and taking care of it so it can take care of us. And I got very inspired by that. And as a musician, I actually am working on a project that's about climate change, an album and a concert about it. And so I want to be someone that's not only talking about it and preaching about it, but doing something about it. So I wanted to, when I realized the previous person running the sustainability committee at the college was stepping down, I offered to do it, as did Professor Dill. So we decided to co-chair it together. And we're working on a number of initiatives at the college that will hopefully be really starting to get seen next year in terms of robust recycling and composting and big picture things like trying to get the campus solar powered and things like that.
I have some questions about the events that we have on campus.
Mm-hmm.
What do we have for this year?
We have a lot of things. So the central event is on actual Earth Day, which is Wednesday, the 22nd of April. And we will be having our 5th Earth Fest, which is in the quad on campus. And there will be student bands performing, and there will be environmental groups there. There will be food. There will be games like volleyball and such. So it's a fun time. It will be in the student center if it's raining. But we're also trying to get out the message. So we kind of lure people in with the bands and things. And then when the bands are setting up, breaking down, setting up, in between, we have people come up on the stage and talk about environmental issues, both on campus and in the world in general, and why young people should be concerned and, do their part in helping with the efforts.
And from what you see, do you think the students are interested in environmentalism, or do you think they're not as much as they should be?
Okay. So I think they are. In fact, Professor Dill, my co-chair, is getting a doctoral degree in environmental studies, and part of his dissertation is a survey. I don't know if you guys saw it, but a survey was distributed last semester to Bergen students, staff, and faculty, their attitudes about climate change specifically. And it was, something like 85% of students are substantially concerned about it as an issue. I think that people get caught up in their lives and they are thinking about other things that are right in front of them. For example, I just had a conversation with someone right before I came here about recycling on campus, and there's these ideas of like, why bother recycling? I heard that, the custodians throw it all in the garbage, right? So I'm actually having a meeting about that next week with our head of custodial services. And, and they're definitely concerned about that. So, I know they'll be on board. But, hopefully that's mostly rumors, but we just want to make sure people can have confidence that, and we're going to try to make it easier. So we're going to try to get more receptacles on campus and even outside and stuff, because I've been to other college campuses in the area and they definitely have things that are more robust, and there's signs making it more clear, what goes in this bin or that bin. So we need to improve on that. That's one thing we need to work on.
My next question would be, how can students here at Bergen could be involved in the Earth Day activities?
Well, they can just show up for the Earth Fest. There are going to be some posters up soon around campus on the bulletin boards with QR codes that they can scan, but the posters themselves will talk about the Earth Fest, but also other events. There'll be other events such as Professor Dill presenting the results of his survey, demonstrations of the composting equipment, nature walk, things of that nature. So most of them are things students can just show up at. And then we have a new club, a student club called ECO, which stands for Environmental and Community Outreach. And they are getting people to sign up to participate in some community cleanups in Paramus and in Tenafly, and I personally will be at the Paramus one and trying to establish relationships with the Paramus Department of Public Works, because we're going to try to get them to help us with on-campus recycling as well. And if students really want to get involved, they can join the Eco Club, and they will have a table at the festival, so students can go and talk to them and sign up and get involved for next year or whatever we do for the remainder of this year.
Awesome. What are some simple things that students could do in their everyday life to make the environment better for us?
Yeah, I think the most simple thing is recycling. Even sometimes the problem on this campus is you walk past 3 garbage cans before you see a bin to put a plastic bottle in. But if someone could just hold on to that for a few more feet and properly recycle it, we are going to make it that people can feel more confident that things are being properly recycled. Printing less. I think the one good thing about the student population is they're good at doing things more electronically. I see you guys with a phone and a laptop instead of writing things on paper. And beyond that, some things that do involve, I guess, financial decisions and such, but buy a car that is has good fuel economy, even if it's a used car. At this point, say hybrid vehicles have been around long enough that you can get a 10-year-old car, like a 10-year-old Prius or something like that. So the next time you do need to do something like buy a car, just bear that in mind. And I think, the current gas prices sort of encourage that as well.
So you mentioned the survey that was like over 80 students,
80%, yeah,
I'm so sorry. 80% of the students actually care
more
about
than
the
80,
environment. Yeah, more than 80. Do you think that nationally we care enough? We do enough
No.
for the environment?
I don't, because I watch news programs and they say, oh, there's an election coming up and here's the top 5 things on everyone's mind. And of course, it's always first the economy, and then it's a host of other things, other social issues that I would say are less pressing. So it's a little bit strange, though, because we do have a lot of things happening in the world, such as intensified hurricanes, intensified fires, and things of that nature that are worsened by climate change. And when those things happen, we've had it happen even here in California. And a couple of years ago, you might remember there were fires in Quebec, and the sky here in New Jersey was orange. And this stuff is all happening a lot more and a lot more intensely, and it can be connected to climate change. So nobody likes it when these things are happening, but in between these things happening, everyone kind of just forgets. And I do want to also get back to your question about what simple things students could do is vote for people that do have the environment on their agenda. And I think a lot of young people are very skeptical about voting, but it actually does. It make a huge difference. Even just local people here in Bergen County, when they have local elections, even apart from the environment, just who's in charge affects things like how much your tuition is, how much they're going to support the college and things like that. So I really would encourage the students to vote and to register if you're not registered, and start doing it every single year.
So what is your message to people who say they see this discouraging news and they don't want to do anything because they think they can't do anything?
Yeah, for that, I think the voting thing is huge, because you yourself as an individual, yes, you can do your recycling, you can buy your hybrid or electric car, you can put up some solar panels, but the elected officials can actually do a lot that's very substantial and very systematic.
You have one final message that you would like to say to the college and everyone listening?
Just that, yeah, in addition to scanning the QR codes on posters you'll see up, check the events calendar, check the Bergen Daily, and you'll learn about all the things happening throughout Earth Week.
Thank you so much for meeting with us
Thank
today.
you.
Thank you.
After this interview with Dan Sheehan, it is evident that the majority of students care deeply about environmental protection and are looking for ways to get involved. If you don't know where to start on your journey to sustainability, attending Earth Week is a great place to start. Now more than ever, it is important to look for ways to help in our everyday lives, whether it be shopping secondhand, composting, walking, biking, recycling, and using what we have. There are many people and places who already face the effects of climate change. people and places affected by rising waters, illness, and severe weather changes. By making small and simple changes in our everyday lives, we can do our part in making the world a better place. After Earth Week, be sure to look for environmental activations happening locally.
Choosing sustainability is important not only for Earth Day, but also throughout our everyday lives. By making your own contribution, you support our planet and make the environment better. Join Earth Week events at Bergen Community College. For more information, you can also visit earthday.org and epa.gov.
For Bergen Bulldog Focus, I'm Lorena Nunez Cruz.
And I'm Yuri Naradev.
Thanks for listening.
The Hopper, and this is your weather update for Paramus, New Jersey. Let's take a look at what you can expect heading into the end of the week and the start of next week. Starting with today, Thursday, we're seeing much warmer conditions than earlier this week. Skies are mostly cloudy, but temperatures are climbing into the mid to upper 80s, with a high around 85 degrees. It will feel warm and a bit humid for this time of the year, so definitely more than like an early summer day than mid-April. It is currently 88 degrees. If you're heading out, you may want to dress light and stay hydrated. Moving to Friday, we'll see a noticeable shift. There's about a 50% chance of showers, with clouds sticking around through much of the day. Temperatures cool down to a high near 79 degrees. It will still be mild, but a bit more unsettled, with off and on rain possible, especially into the afternoon and evening hours. By Saturday, cooler air really starts to move in. Skies will be mostly cloudy with high drops to around 67 degrees. It will feel much more comfortable compared to heat earlier in the day and the week. Overall, it should be a pretty quiet weather day. On Sunday, we're tracking a wetter day with an 80% chance of rain. Expect periods of steadier rain at times, and temperatures continue to fall with highs reaching the upper 50s. It's going to be a cool, damp end to the weekend, so keep the umbrella handy if you have plans. Looking ahead to Monday, conditions start to dry out, but it turns even cooler. Expect a mix of sun and clouds with highs around 48 degrees, which is a big drop compared to today. Tuesday brings plenty of sunshine, but it stays on the chillier side with a high near 55 degrees. By Wednesday, temperatures rebound slightly into the low 60s with a mix of sun and clouds, and that's the trend continues on Thursday with mostly sunny skies and a high in the upper 50s. Overall, we're seeing a big swing from summer-like heat today to cooler, more typical spring conditions by early next week, along with a few chances for rain. That's your update for weather for Paramus. Stay tuned for more updates and have a great day.
This week on Bergen Bulldog Sports, we've got a loaded-up lineup with action from around New York and New Jersey areas. Starting off, the New York Sirens, the team that continues to rebuild the monumental PWHL as women's hockey continues to grow in popularity. The Sirens have been competing hard this season, showing off strong defensive play and fast-paced offense. With the league still in their early stage, every game matters as they try to establish themselves as a top team in the league. April 15th, they played Toronto and beat them 3-2, giving them a good lead and having a chance at playoffs. In baseball, the New York Yankees are back in action and looking at a serious run this season. After a mixed start, the Yankees are trying to find a consistent and both at the plate and the mound. All eyes continue to be on the big stars to step up and lead the team, as the fans accept nothing less than a playoff push in the Bronx this season. And around the sports world, there's always going to be something going on, from continuing NIL deals, changing college athletics, to players speaking out more than ever on social issues. Sports isn't just about the game anymore, it's about the culture surrounding. And that was a quick look at sports. This was Bergen Bulldog Sports, keeping you in the loop. I'm Riley Hamilton.
Bergen Bulldog Radio was engineered and edited by Jordan Borrell. The Bulldog Focus segment was by Lorena Nunez Cruz and Yuri Nuradiev. Newscasters were Jaden Mercado and Michael Richardson. Sports and weather segments by Amanda Hopper and Riley Hamilton. Our Bulldog mascot is Jamison. If you missed any portion, this program will be repeated at various times here on Torch TV, Files Channel 26 through Sunday, April 19th. It's available anytime on the YouTube Bergen Bulldog Radio channel. The next edition will air live next Thursday, April 23rd at 3 p.m. The executive producer of Bergen Bulldog Radio is Professor Robert Williams. I am your host, Melody DeForge. Thank you for joining us on Bergen Bulldog Radio.